Hey guys, welcome back to Nice Junk. And we're back working on 2018 Dodge Ram. We're going to be changing tail lights, the spoiler because this one was missing when I bought it, and putting a tonneau cover on it. But not any regular tonneau. So I bought this tonneau off the marketplace. The guy said, "Oh yeah, it's for a 6'4" Dodge box." And I get out there, it was an hour and a half to drive out. And we measured it. Yeah, width-wise it was good, length-wise it was good. So I gave him the money. He said he couldn't put it on his truck because he's got the short box. And he had one of those in the yard, so I took him at his word. I bring it home, and no, the Dodges have a wider box in the front than they do in the back. So now we're going to figure out how to do this, and I'm going to show you how. So guys, the problem is back here from this lip to that lip is 62 and a half. But when you come to the front, it's 65 and a half to the other bed rail. So the only idea is to extend these bed rails in the front and not in the back. This way that tonneau cover should fit. And this is going to be the solution. I bought this 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch aluminum angle, and I'm going to mill that up so that it makes my box the right size. So we got this 10-foot aluminum angle, and I'm going to cut this thing in half. So what I'm going to do is this mark here, which is 2 inches from that end, is I'm just going to notch that out, and this way it will go over, this tang here will go over top of the bulkhead of the box. That stung. Clean that up with the grinder. Got this one. So So what I did is I kept it 1.5 inches up towards the cab and down to 1/2 inch. Sanded this all smooth. Now it's ready for paint. I did the same thing with the other side, but only backwards. I also cut out a piece in the front for all the hardware and things that stick out. So, time to get painting. So here we are in the paint booth. Just give these a little bit of the brake clean. Wipe them down. Do the same to the insides. And today we're going to be using the high build 1K primer. And I'm just going to start with the insides. I'm just going to give 1 coat of the primer. And in 20 minutes, we're just going to give these a light scuff. Make sure there's no runs. Give them a final coat of black. Now I'm going to take a Scotch-Brite. Just give this a quick scuff. I just want to make sure there's no runs. It's a high build, so you'll fill in any imperfections. A little bit of a run there. That's gone. Okay. Flip this over. Do the insides. The insides don't matter as much because you won't see them very much. What I'm using today is the Trim Clad Professional Fast Dry High Performance Rust Enamel. The reason I'm using this is that's what was on sale. So if I had my Rathers, I'd be using the Armor Coat. Just going to give that a nice light coat. Wait a couple minutes. Give her another one. That other side is dried. Again, we're just giving it a light coat. Start with. In 5 minutes, we'll give it another one. Now we're going to let that dry overnight and start installing tomorrow. Well, it's the next day, and good morning, everybody. And it's time to install this tonneau cover. See if this is going to be a failure or a success. Well, I'm just going to clean this area with a little brake clean. There's nothing wrong with brake clean these days. Brake clean used to clean felt marker right off, and it doesn't anymore. I'm going to put a little two-way tape in the area that the aluminum tab goes over top. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. Like that. Just to hold that in place. Put one over here. What I did is I'm holding it in place so I can drill some holes so we can mount this thing to the side of the box. I'm going to remove the two-way tape, the other cover. I'm going to put a bead of silicone, and I'm using an exterior grade black silicone, and I'm just going to create a gasket so water doesn't get into the bed. And it's a tonneau cover. It's still going to get in, but we want to mitigate how much. Line up that. Put in my first bolt. I'm using nylock nuts. And you could self-topper this if you wanted to. It's just, I know it's going to rattle loose, so wipe off any excess silicone. Should probably keep the rag with you, unlike me. Now I'm just going to tighten these up, do the other side, and we'll be back. So we got them all bolted, both sides. Now I'm going to put on this bed rail, or I don't know, whatever they call it, not a bed rail. The tonneau cover rail. And again, if you don't have someone that's hanging around, you can always just use your spring clamps again. And that'll hold on to it for you. Or I think it will. Yeah, it's going to hold on to it for me. Now that's clamped into position, I can turn around and put my mounting hardware on. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use longer screws in the front that came from the manufacturer and stock size at the back. And yeah. So I figured out my problem was the rail kept, when I was trying to tighten it, it kept on trying to flip over, and that makes sense because there's no side anymore. So I put some rubber insulators that shim out the side rail to the edge of my angle iron. So there's one there, and then there's one at the front right by the drill. So it's just rubber isolator, some self-tapping root screws, and now we're going to try this again. We got the rails installed. Now it's just time to throw the top on. If you look at those clamps, I turn around and used sockets for spacers to keep the clamps from clamping crooked. So that's how I made up the space. Now we're just going to throw that top on and we'll be back. Well, the top is on. She opens up all the way to the back window, so if you need to use the whole truck, you can. Then it flips down. Totally covered. Close the tailgate. Beautiful covered top. All the gaps are enclosed. Now we'll keep that snow out of the box. That's awesome. I didn't record putting the spoiler on because it's got really poor fitment issues. There's gaps. I don't know. I think I'm going to send it back, but we'll see. But I didn't want to show you the install of such a horrible piece. Now we're going to change the taillights. Change the headlights. What we're going to do is undo these two bolts from inside the tailgate. Yes, found it. And then these have clips again. Our new tail lights come with clips anyway, so Untwist the socket. Same thing with the reverse light. Our new tail light comes with a reverse bulb or socket, so might as well use that. We can't stress this enough, guys. If you're changing tail lights, change your bulbs. To do the entire back of this truck was under $5 Canadian, bulb wise. Light came with new clips, so tail light came with new clips. So you just take them out, slide them in so they click. Slide your reverse on. Install that bulb. Line up the clips with the holes. Get a nice little hit. Reinstall the screws. I like to start them by hand. And we're done. So guys, am I blinking? So guys, got something in the mail today. Can't wait to show you. That's right, a nice junk license plate, which will be going on the back of my 1971 C10 Chevy pickup. Hey guys, I was going to show you this horrible tailgate cap that Amazon sells. It's being sold under several names. It's a 3-piece tailgate cap. Should have known better. The price was too good, but the holes don't line up underneath, and I'll show you in a minute. There's little square pressure plugs that snap into holes, and they just don't. So it leaves the top nice and wavy. You end up with this ugly joint, and then here again, horrible gaps. Now that's totally useless. Check out my new anchoring system. Those were awesome. They're good for 1,000 pounds, and the bedsides are only good for 500. So, and then they pop out of the way, nice and sleek. I'll leave a link to those in the description. But anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off, and then I'll show you the one piece that I also bought off Amazon, and it's a Dorman, but it's a 1-piece. So to get this off, all you do is take a power tool, go underneath the pin, pull the pin out, like that. Go all the way along, stab yourself in the gut. Okay, that one disappeared. Then all you do is yank them off. As you can tell, I don't care. I'm not very happy. They're being sent back to Amazon, so this is the Dorman, made in Taiwan. So hopefully you just line up the 2 guide pins. Come on. Make sure she's snapped on. The hardware does not come with it, so make sure you pick up the hardware. I just bought some cheap stuff from Amazon. I think it was like $4 or something for these pins. And all you do is line up your holes. Push them in. Can tell you already, this looks way better than, and I haven't even really looked at it yet, but just the way that this is lining up, the fact that I could get all the clips in. Now we'll see if it's straight. Just put that in there for right now. Look at that. But look at that gap. Gap is perfect. Way nicer fitting. We no longer have that joint. So I guess that's the question for this week. Have you ever bought Chinese parts that just don't fit right? Make sure you bloop that in the comments for me. I'd love to hear those stories. So thanks for hanging around and watching me put the cover on the truck and putting the tail lights in. I don't know why I keep on calling them headlights. But anyways, if you enjoyed this episode, awesome. Make sure to subscribe. And don't forget to go over to More Nice Junk, subscribe over there. That would be handy. We really need subscribers over there. And make sure to like and share the video. And that was some nice junk. See you next week.